In the world of ancient Hindu mythology, there lived a powerful and radiant goddess named Parvati. She was the embodiment of love, compassion, and motherhood, and was the consort of Lord Shiva, the supreme god of destruction and transformation. However, despite their blissful union, Parvati felt a nagging need for a loyal attendant who would be devoted to her alone, someone who would protect her privacy and obey her commands without question. This longing stemmed from an incident that occurred when she and Shiva performed the Samudra Manthan, the churning of the ocean of milk. During this cosmic event, all the gods and demons participated, each hoping to claim the Amrit, the nectar of immortality. But it was Vishnu, the preserver, who ultimately obtained the Amrit and bestowed it upon the Devas, the celestial beings. And among them was Parvati. While she appreciated the gesture, she couldn't help but feel a twinge of jealousy towards Vishnu. She turned to her husband, Lord Shiva, and expressed her desire for something that would make her feel equally powerful and revered. And so Shiva, being the embodiment of love himself, decided to grant her wish. One day when Shiva went into deep meditation on Mount Kailash, his abode, Parvati decided to take matters into her own hands. Using her divine powers, she began to gather the dirt, clay, and unguents from her own body and molded them into the shape of a beautiful boy. She then breathed life into the form, and the boy opened his eyes, looking at her with innocence. Overwhelmed with maternal love, Parvati named him Ganesha, which meant Lord of the Ganas, referring to Shiva's attendants. And then she gave him instructions. "Oh, Ganesha," she said, her voice echoing with authority, "I want you to stand guard at my door and not let anyone in without my permission. Remember, not even your father, Lord Shiva." Ganesha, being a devoted son and a powerful deity in his own right, bowed before his mother and promised to fulfill her wish. As soon as he took his position outside the door, the other gods and ascetics who often visited Shiva's abode became curious about the young boy who seemed to exude an inexplicable power. Some tried to trick him, some tested his resolve, but Ganesha stood firm, adhering strictly to his mother's orders. Meanwhile, news of Parvati's creation spread like wildfire, reaching every corner of the cosmos. And one who heard this news was none other than Lord Shiva himself. Upon his return from meditation, he was both surprised and intrigued to see a young boy barring his way. Intending to be playful, Shiva disguised himself as a beggar and approached Ganesha. "Oh, young one," he asked, his voice raspy and weary, "please allow me to enter. An ascetic like me needs rest after a long journey." But Ganesha, recognizing the beggar's divine aura, replied, "I am sorry, but my mother has given me strict orders to deny entry to anyone. If you are truly a beggar, then I will give you alms, but I cannot let you pass." Shiva, testing further, said, "Very well, then let me pass, and I shall reward you with boons beyond your wildest dreams." Still, Ganesha refused, standing firm against Shiva's persuasive words. Enraged and exasperated by the boy's insolence, Shiva's patience snapped. In a fit of anger, he raised his trident, a weapon so powerful it could pierce through any defense, and struck Ganesha, sending him tumbling to the ground. Unhurt but shocked, Ganesha retaliated, and as the battle between god and boy raged on, the very foundations of Mount Kailash trembled. Ganesha, empowered by his divine creation, fought with the strength and ferocity of 1,000 elephants. His tusks glistened like polished ivory, his ears flared like banners in the wind, and his trunk sprayed water and earth like a mighty elephant. Each swing of his tusks sent tremors through the mountain, each step shook the ground beneath Shiva's feet. The battle continued, neither side gaining an advantage. And soon the other gods and Shiva's attendants joined the fray. Some sided with Shiva, drawn to his immense power and magnetic personality, while others supported Ganesha, impressed by his courage and unwavering determination. The battle reached a fever pitch, and it seemed as though the mountain would crumble under the impact of their divine wrath. Amidst the chaos, Parvati watched anxiously from inside. Hearing her son's distressed cries, she rushed out to see what was happening. When she saw that Shiva was personally involved in the battle and that her son was losing ground, she intervened. With a voice that boomed like thunder, she commanded, "Stop this madness, Shiva. Do you not recognize this boy? It is our son, Ganesha." Shiva, taken aback by his wife's sudden appearance, halted his attack and turned to face her. Shame and remorse flooded him as he realized the gravity of his actions. With a heavy heart, he descended from his battle stance and bowed before Parvati. Understanding his mistake, he knew that he had to rectify the situation. Turning his gaze back to Ganesha, who was now weak and wounded from the battle, Shiva summoned his divine powers. His third eye, a source of great power and wisdom, glowed brightly, and he reached out with his hand, taking the severed head of an elephant that happened to be passing by. Placing the elephant's head on Ganesha's body, Shiva uttered words of restoration, and Ganesha slowly came back to life. Overwhelmed with gratitude and love for her son, Parvati embraced him tightly. Looking at her son, whole and unharmed once again, she couldn't help but smile. In that moment, she knew that her wish had been fulfilled. Ganesha was not just a powerful deity, but also a symbol of her unconditional love for him. Then, turning her gaze to Lord Shiva, Parvati spoke in a voice that resonated with authority and love. "You have proven yourself to be a true father, Shiva, by bringing our son back to life. But now I want you to acknowledge him in front of all the gods." Shiva, humbled and repentant, readily agreed. Raising his son in the air, he announced to the assembled deities, "Behold, this is Ganesha, the head of my Ganas, the leader of my attendants. From this day forward, he shall be the first god to receive worship, and his name shall be invoked in every ritual and ceremony." The gods erupted in cheers, acknowledging Ganesha as their new leader and showering him with blessings. And so it was that Lord Ganesha, the remover of obstacles and the Lord of new beginnings, came into existence. From that day forward, no auspicious task was undertaken without first paying homage to Ganesha. He became the patron deity of scholars, writers, artists, and all those who embarked on new endeavors. His image is often the first thing to be sculpted or painted in a temple, and his presence is invoked in homes and workplaces to ensure success and prosperity. Now, if you enjoyed this tale, I invite you to embark on another mythological adventure. Click here to listen to the story of Hanuman, the monkey god whose unwavering devotion to Rama led him to become one of the most revered figures in Hindu mythology. Thank you for listening.